Kenneth Page, and I'm here with Adulting 101 Org. Here at Adulting 101, our mission is to influence a generation of young people to build a strong foundation for their lives and help to position themselves to discover what they can contribute to this world. Through transparent, vulnerable, and honest conversations, we will teach meaningful, impactful, and applicable life skills that young people need to successfully navigate life. Today, I am pleased to share with you the second part of this three-part series on conversation. Now, in the first section, the value of money, we really dug into some fundamental and essential concepts related to money. So if you haven't seen that, you need to turn this off right now and go find that video. You can find it on the Adulting 101 Org YouTube channel. Go find that video and watch it and get caught up. Now, in this second part today, titled Income, Wealth, and Happiness, we really dig deeper into that conversation to look at how we view money and better ways to use it and better ways to make it. So grab your pen, some paper, something to write on, get ready to take some notes, and let's jump right into this amazing conversation.
I was curious, Mackenzie has a business and is making money, but Michaela has more money saved. I believe that, there's a reason. You must have a goal in mind, because why else would you be saving money? So I'd be curious to hear what your goal is, of why you believe that you need to just keep saving, even though you said you still want to buy clothes and go shopping like everybody else does. But I'd be curious to hear why it is you're wanting to save money.
The reason is because if anything happens, like hard times, I just want to just use it. If anything happens, like anything, now
Praise Him. That's where it's at, girl.
And that's truly the secret to it, is once you find whatever it is for you individually, what it is you're working towards, why you climb, why you get out of bed every day. Once you figure that out, it becomes a lot easier to say, all right, let me just go ahead and put $25 away, then I'll pay my bills. Let me go ahead and put $100 away. Because you guys heard Javerta say, at your age, if you went ahead and started stashing $115 a month, guys, that's like 3-4 weeks in a month? Divide 100 by 4, it's like $25. $25 a week, you were to put that away, you could become a millionaire by the time you're 40. And you wouldn't even have to go through a lot of, you don't have bosses yet or people checking up on you. You got parents, but it's a different conversation when you wake up and you don't have to depend on somebody to tell you what to do that day. So I just wanted to say that.
She wanted to know, what is the difference between credits and debits? It's not a simple question, because credits and debits in an account are different than credits and debits on a ledger is different than credits and debits when you're looking at a card. But to simplify, credits and debits, it talks about the direction of the flow of money. Depending on the type of account or ledger, a credit means money is going this way, a debit means money is going the other way. So credits and debits really just hit on the flow of money. But now we spent a lot of time so far talking about money. We talked about what it is, how long it's been around, its uses for it. We've talked about perspectives on money, how to use it, if it's good or is it bad. Now that we've kind of got a better understanding of money, and there's a question I'm going to come back to later on with that, I want to move into talking about different ways to make money. Now, Javertis put me on game the other day on this thing that we call the cash flow quadrant. The cash flow quadrant, what I'm going to do is, Mackenzie, you know about that thing too? It's beautiful. Javertis, I'm going to put the cash flow quadrant up on the screen. So if I hit that button and I'm gonna put this on screen, and I want you to talk about it for a second. All right?
Okay, cool. And yeah, so this cash flow quadrant, we all talk about how we can make money, and we've been talking about having a conversation about money, but this breaks down the 4 ways that you can make money, and typically every way possible to make money falls into one of these 4 categories. In the top left, you'll see you could be an employee, right? You could be an employee. An employee is I'm going to exchange my time for money. So you can see, as it says, you have a job, your time equals money. So if I put in these 40 hours a week, I'm going to get paid for each hour, and I'm going to exchange my time for money. If we look at the bottom left, we see self-employed. And so I want to make sure that I want to stress this one. Girl, be quiet. I want to stress this one because a lot of people who think they own businesses are actually self-employed. Meaning that you don't own a business, you actually just own a job, right? So you own a job and you're still exchanging time for money. So if you're not the person who is, if you're not actually performing that job, you're not getting paid. So a easy example of this is a hairstylist, right? Well, if I'm an employee, I work for Michaela and Mackenzie's Beauty Salon, right? So I work for Michaela Mackenzie's Beauty Salon. They pay me $15 an hour just to wash hair. And all I do all day, every day is wash hair. So Princess comes in, she's getting ready to get her hair done. She's about to get slayed. Before she go get slayed by the stylist, I wash her hair. That's it, right? So that's my job. I'm washing hair and I'm getting $15 an hour. It doesn't matter if I wash 1 head an hour or if I wash 5 heads an hour, I'm gonna get $15, right? So I'm trading my time for money. I'm an employee. And I do that for a couple of years. And I say, you know what, man, Michaela and Mackenzie are out here running this business. They got that other girl just left her booth. I can rent her booth. I can do that. So I say, hey, Michaela, Mackenzie, can I rent space from y'all so I can do hair? Like, I want to do more than just wash hair. I can braid, I can twist, I can whatever. I can do the extension. I can get you started on your lock journey, whatever. I got you. I can do that, right? So they say, okay, so now I pay them booth rent every week, but now I'm self-employed, meaning I'm still trading time for money because guess what? If nobody's sitting in my chair, I'm not getting paid. So I own a job. I don't own a business. I own a job. On the right side of this equation is what we like to call leveraged income. On the right side of this equation is what we like to call leveraged income. So on the left side is linear income. I'm trading time for money. I'm trading time for money. On the right side is leveraged income. So as a business owner, I put in a system and other people, and those systems and those people now make money for me. As a business owner, I put in a system and other people, and those systems and those people now make money for me. So now I say, you know what? Michaela and Mackenzie did a great job. I appreciate having this booth rent over here, but I can have my own spot too. So Michaela and Mackenzie, who are renting me a booth and who have other people renting from them, they have an actual business. They're leveraging me. They're leveraging other folks that are renting from them, and they're making money whether they do hair or not. That's a business. People and systems make money. I get to leverage them. And then as an investor, I get to leverage my money to make money. So now I go full circle and I say, man, you know what? Michaela, Mackenzie, I love what y'all are doing in Greenville. I think your salon would do great in Anderson County as well. I'm going to invest $100,000 so y'all can go and start a salon in Anderson County. And so now my money, I'm not in the salon. I'm not washing hair anymore. I'm not doing hair anymore, but I invested $100,000 and they're paying me every month. They're splitting the profit with me of the Anderson location. So every month, my $100,000 is now making me money. I can invest in the stock market. I can invest in my company's 401k, IRA. But as an investor, I'm getting what we call passive income. So now while I'm sleeping at night, money's still coming in. While I'm on vacation with the family, money's still coming in. While I'm out watching the Super Bowl, money's still coming in, right? And so those are the 4 different ways that we make money. As an employee, as a self-employed person owning a job, as a business owner owning a business, or as an investor. As an investor, you can invest in businesses, you can invest in real estate, you can invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You can invest in gold, silver, artwork, oil. You can invest in movies. I have a client who invests hundreds of thousands of dollars every year in movies. You can invest in movies. You can invest in all type of things as an investor, and now your money is out making money for you.
Thank you for explaining that to us, DeVertis. One of the things that I like, another thing Cyrus had to step away for a second, is that one of the first things he mentioned was flipping money. And in the finance world, that's called investing, learning to take your money and put it towards something that's going to make more money. And you know, that's going to fall back into understanding that money is a tool, that is something that can be used to do something else. When we talk about paying yourself, you know, when I look at paying myself, I look at it directly as money coming to me. So if I pay myself, I got to take this money and give it back to myself. So when you look at investing, that's like, I'm going to take my money and I'm going to sit it here. I'm going to sit it in this place, and that money is going to make more money, and then that money is going to come back to me. So it's like when I invest, I'm making more money on top. When I save, I'm still making money because, you know, I'm giving that money to myself. And Michaela, I love what you said earlier about saving money to make sure you have it at the later time when you need it. I'm a firm believer in, it's not the storm that causes the problem. It's the inability to weather the storm that causes the problem. You know, you're going to have financial pitfalls and bills you can't imagine just pop up out of nowhere. That's a storm. It's not that it showed up that makes it the problem. It's that you ain't had the money to get through it. Your car breaks down. It's not the problem that the car broke down. The problem is you can't get it fixed because you ain't got no money. So when we talk about like saving money and setting it aside for the future, I think that's one of the greatest spending habits of all. But when we're looking at that cash flow quadrant, it's talking about investing, business owners, self-employed, and being an employee. What I want to ask you and McKenzie and Javertis, Dick McKenzie and Javertis, I want both of y'all to weigh in on both of these questions. What do you think about money as it relates to wealth? And what do you think about money as it relates to happiness? All right, I want both of y'all to weigh in on that, the link between money and wealth and the link between money and happiness.
So I'll start it off and let Mackenzie finish that up. But before I do that, Kenneth, dude, you over there being a philosopher, man. Thank you for dropping those gems on us, man. You're a philosopher, the great philosopher Kenneth Page.
It's not the storm that causes the problem. It's the inability to weather the storm that causes the problem. I learned it through great pain.
Hey, those are the best lessons. Those are the best lessons. Something that Mackenzie said that I don't want to gloss over, man. The people who are the most successful at building wealth, at accomplishing, like saving money, investing money, I tell all of my clients, anytime I sit down, and even if it's a prospect who I'm meeting for the first time and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't make a lot of money, I don't whatever. I tell them, okay, if you're going to be sitting in my office, the first thing you got to understand and comprehend is that you don't have a money problem. You have a goal problem. When our goals are clear enough, the money, we figure out a way to do that. We don't save, not because we don't make enough money. It's because we don't have clear enough vision and clear enough goals. And there's nothing else that we have at our forefront that's more important than the pressure of paying these bills. And so if we have goals like Michaela, saving becomes easier. When we have goals like Michaela has goals, whatever that is, whether it's you're trying to buy a car, you're trying to take a trip. It's funny to me. I have so many people in my life, people that I love dearly, family, friends, the whole nine. They said they can't save money. But then when we're like, hey, y'all, we taking the kids to Disney for Christmas, all of a sudden, everybody got money, right? It wasn't that they couldn't save before. It was that they didn't have a goal big enough that motivated them to want to save. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We can talk about that at another time. But back to your question as far as like money and wealth and money and happiness, it goes back to that particular thing, that goal, man, because money, one of the things that I've learned in my life and in my career and just the hard way is that building wealth and happiness has nothing to do with how much money you make. It's about us really having, as far as the happiness piece is concerned, it's about us really having clarity of who we are and a purpose outside of financial, a purpose outside of money, right? I tell you, and again, I see these people all day, every day. I know some absolutely miserable millionaires in the upstate, absolutely miserable, but they're millionaires, right? And I know some absolutely amazingly happy people that are making $50,000, $60,000 a year, and they're the happiest people in the world. So I like to start that by saying I think money should not play a huge role in your happiness. I do think money can play a large role in your unhappiness, if that's a word, in your unhappiness, because it goes back to just our basic needs being met. And I don't want to talk over nobody's head, but you guys are all in high school or about to go to high school, you're in middle school. You're going to look at something, if you haven't already, called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And that's us understanding that before I really care about anything else, I want to make sure that my basic needs are met, that I have shelter, that I have food, that I have stuff. So to that extent, money is important because we need shelter, we need food, we need all of that stuff. But beyond those things, everything else on that list of basic needs, the social interaction, like having loving, meaningful relationships, having people that you care about, causes that are passionate and near and dear to your heart, having something that you believe in, none of that stuff has anything to do with money, right? So that's the first thing. If you define your happiness in money, then you need to take a step back from it and redefine what happiness really means to you. As far as building wealth and money, building wealth is, again, not about how much money we make, but about how much money we can actually keep, right? So one of the things that my siblings especially, they're just like, man, like, when are y'all going to move? When are y'all going to do this? Like, my wife and I, we have a townhouse that we've been in for almost 10 years. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, plenty space for us. Like, we're not having no more kids. We're done. That's it. Shop is closed. That ain't working no more. We done. So that's over with. So we have tons of space. We have zero debt outside of our mortgage. So we have no car notes, no credit card debt, none of this stuff, no student loan debt, all this kind of stuff. So our mortgage, homeowners association, utilities, everything like associated with our house is less than $1,500 a month. So it's like, we can go out and we can build a house. We can go out and we can buy XYZ. We got 2 huge parks in walking distance of us, right? We can go across the street. We can go Sunset. We can go the Coniston Park. We can go anywhere. We got the lake, everything in our backyard. Like, who cares if we don't have a huge backyard? Go to the park. Get on the bike. Let's go. Let's walk. Come on. But so we could go out and buy this huge house, this 3,000, 4,000 square foot house with 3-4 acres of land, and buy the new car and the new SUV and all this kind of stuff. But because of that goal, Michaela, because our goal is to literally build wealth and to create generational transformative wealth for our children. So our goal is for our ceiling to be our children's floor. I don't want my kids to ever have to have the challenges that I had, right? Somebody got to make that decision to say, building real generational wealth is more important than me swagging for the homies, right? If you can't come to my 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse and enjoy yourself and laugh and spend time with the family, we don't want you here, right? And so for us, it's prioritizing and having goals. So now we're in a situation where my wife is a teacher at Burns High School. She loves teaching. She loves what she does. But we're in a situation now to where it's like, she's like, I don't think I want to go back next year. And it's like, okay, do what you want to do. If you want to go back, you go back because you want to, but you don't go back because you have to. If you want to work, keep working. If not, we good. We okay. Right. And so building wealth is about how much we can actually keep. Right. So we have an investment property in Georgia and then down in Columbia. Our goal is getting to the point. Our next step is getting to the point to where we have residual income, that right side of the quadrant, where we have residual income coming in that is enough for us to live off of if neither one of us was working. So we already have enough residual to kind of replace her income. Now the goal is to have enough residual to where even if I'm not working, we can do whatever we want to do, right? So money, how much of that we keep is important to building wealth, not how much of that we make, because we did that. The bulk of the debt that we paid off in the early stages of our relationship, the first 2.5 years of our marriage, we were really intentional about paying down debt. And the bulk of the debt that we paid off in the first 2.5 years of our marriage, we paid off with her making about $45,000 a year as a teacher, and with me making about $66,000 a year as a assistant manager with Enterprise Holding Company. So we're not talking about people who was out here making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. We just got real serious and focused about what our goals were, and was like, okay, for the first 2 years of our marriage, we ain't go nowhere. Our friends were taking trips and going on vacations and doing all this stuff. We're like, nope, we're paying this debt off. Nope, we're paying this debt off. Nope, we're paying this debt off. And so now we can go wherever we want to go, whenever we want to go, and not have travel regret when we get back. And so for me, building wealth is about using money as that tool and the resource that it really is, and not letting it consume you, being focused on how much of it I can keep as opposed to how much of it I can make. Because if I'm only chasing dollars to make dollars, I got 3 people in this house that I love to spend time with and I love to be around, that if I'm always out chasing dollars, I can't be around those little people. I can't be around my wife. We can't date. I can't date her. I can't cook pancakes on a Saturday morning for my son and my daughter, right? So it's not all about chasing money. It's about how do we keep this money that we have, and being really goal focused and goal oriented is that key to us making sure that we're putting ourselves on the path to building wealth.
Thank you, Divertus. I really like how you broke that down. You know, we were talking about money as it relates to wealth and money as it relates to happiness. And because, you know, there's always a bit of confusion about what separates being rich from being wealthy. And I think you gave a great explanation talking about a system by which we get to retain money rather than just, you know, having it and spending it and all of that stuff. Having more money going out than staying in.
Kenneth, so I have an actual definition. So this is what I share with my clients. The definition of wealth is being able to do what I want to do. So having that desire, being able to do the things I desire to do without having any type of remorse or guilt at the end. So I want to have the desire to do it. I want to have the means to do it, the financial capacity to do it without having any regrets ever, right? So I got a desire to go to Disney World, and I might have the means to go to Disney World, but my means to go to Disney World is my rent money for next month, right? And so I don't know about y'all. I'll talk about me. I've done that. I've taken trips in college and right out of college when I was single. I've taken trips with the fellas trying to impress folks who weren't worth me impressing. I've gone on the trip, and then on the way back from the trip, you get that sickness in the pit of your stomach because you're like, man, I got to pay rent when I get back, and I ain't got no money because I just paid that's regret. That's guilt, right?
Gas tank on E, but all drink on E.
That's it, right? So I want to have the time and the flexibility and the freedom and the desire to do whatever I want to do without any regrets. For me, that's financial freedom. And financial freedom is the first step of building wealth, because we can't build wealth until we're first free.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Mackenzie, you got anything to add to that?
Honestly, Drip just hit it all, man. I guess I'm gonna just keep it short because he really broke that down to explained it. For me, the wealth to me means the number of days you can go without needing to work. Being rich is a temporary thing. Being wealthy means you can go weeks, months, years without needing a source of income, or without having to use your time to make income. So wealth is a very important word for me, and it's something that can be given to someone else because it's an ownership type of thing. So being rich is in the moment, it's fleeting. It's cool, it looks good, and those diamonds flash, like, those fresh pair of shoes. Like, I've never owned a pair of Jordans, but I look at my friend's pair of Jordans, and those are the coolest shoes I've ever seen. I'd love to have one. It's just, I'd rather be wealthy and give my kids income, whether it be weekly, whether it be monthly, whatever it may be. I see more value in that than, wearing a pair of shoes a few times. If they get dirty, I'm upset that I paid $150 for a pair of shoes. So that was wealth. And then money and happiness. I don't know where we are in this, but you said how we met, and you pretty much said that everybody here you've known in some form of fashion has a relationship with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So for me, there's nothing outside of how I define myself that will bring me gratification. Nothing outside in the world will make me happy. There's nothing outside of my 6'4", 198-pound body that is going to satisfy my desire and make me happy, make me sad. And I believe that's because I define myself in Jesus, and I strive to be more like him. And because of that, everything that makes me happy comes from within my body, comes from within my mind, comes from within me. Yes, having money and being able to do things is great, and I would feel good from it, but no, it would not make me happy, because what makes me happy is I was able to go out and make the money. Without me, it wouldn't be there. Again, like how we kept saying, it's a tool. You know, it doesn't make me happy that I have a shovel. What makes me happy is what I did with the shovel. You know what I mean? So that's what my stance on it is. But I really believe that Javertis broke that down a lot more than the few words I just gave.
You actually both hit on some great points, and I appreciate that. And some of the things that you all like, when you look at the description of wealth, the way that it's described, and even, you know, Mackenzie, you talked about your relationship with Christ. Javertis, earlier, you talked about the fact that y'all believe in tithing and giving and donating, things like that. You know, wealth is going to look different for each and every person, because we're going to have our different desires. You have some people that if they're not on a beach, they're not happy. You put me in a room, give me something to eat with some Netflix, I'm straight. You know, I'm a homebody. So it's like, you know, different desires are going to play into, you know, what we define as wealth, what we're able to do, and what's out there. And Mackenzie, the biggest thing, like, that I think kind of gets skated over some, is you talked about, you recognize that happiness comes from within and not something from without. And I think a lot of kids, right? And you talked about happiness coming from within and not something that's coming from without. I think a lot of times when we look at the spending habits that we have, you know, spending a lot of money to floss, to stunt, to impress other people, we're really attempting to fill ourselves up with some happiness that's a void inside of us. Like, we're trying to answer internal issues with money, and that's never gonna work. Cyrus, you walked away for a second when Javertis was explaining investing. And one of the things I wanted to circle back around to investing, because when we're talking about wealth, we're talking about, you know, sustainability, we're talking about quality of life, the things that we're going to be able to do. One of the things that Versus pointed out is, you know, when you're an employee, you're trading your time for money. Now, when you become an investor, you're not so much trading time to bring that money back in. I think the way we talked about it was, there's not enough hours in the day for me to consistently trade my time for money and have enough money to be wealthy. Mathematically, it's just flat out impossible. Now, when I get to, you know, you talked about residual income, you know, making money that you're not actively working for, those are means to building wealth. But then we also talked about, you know, there has to be financial freedom with that. So it's like a layer of things. I want to be wealthy. I want some financial freedom. I have to be able to invest, but there's some things that precede that. And like we said earlier, Cyrus, investing will be the financial term for flipping your money. And one of the biggest things is, I think when we talk about investing, people generally tend to think that if I'm going to invest, it has to be like a stock, it has to be a bond, it has to be a money market account. But earlier, JB pointed out, investing in real estate, investing in jewelry, investing in artwork. Gosh, I can't remember his name. There was one guy that bought a piece of artwork for like $1 million, hung it in his house, and a couple of years later, that same artwork was worth $4 million, right? So there's just different things that you can invest in, jewelry, people, and businesses, things along those lines. Wow, what an amazing conversation that we just had as we continue this conversation on money. Viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Mackenzie, Michaela, Cyrus, Princess, Mackenzie, and Javertis, thank you so much for spending your time with us and having this conversation. We talked about a lot of amazing things today that we definitely learned a lot about. We started talking about saving. We talked about the importance of financial goals and savings goals so that you can have a savings plan together. We talked about the different types of income that we'll have. Javertis really broke down that cash flow quadrant for us. And then in that, we learned about the difference between employed, self-employed, owning a business, investing. We learned about the difference between owning a job and owning a business. We talked about what leveraged income is. We talked about what passive and residual income is. And then we also went into a conversation to talk about, wealth and happiness as it relates to money. So this was a jam-packed session of information that we learned, and we're so glad and blessed and fortunate that we were able to have this conversation. And I'm excited that I was able to share this, that we were able to share this with you at home. Now, there's a call to action that I want you to do. The first thing that I want you to do is I need you to have a moment of reflection. Go back over the video. I hope you were taking notes. Go back over your notes, skim through it, see what it is that you can see. As you were going through it, some things might have came up in your mind, some situations, thoughts, circumstances as it relates to your life. Those things didn't come up for any reason at all. So make sure you take the time to go back and reflect on those things to see what information you can extract and pull out that'll be useful for you. Now, the next thing that I need you to do is mix in some application with that. You went through a process of reflection. You learned, you saw the things that you can incorporate into your life. So now let's put some application behind it. Let's put some action behind it. Let's do some actual doing. Again, remember, we want to put application with the new knowledge that we learn so that we can go on a different track in life, so that we can accomplish better things in life. It doesn't matter what was done in the past. Every moment is a new moment to begin to do something new. So let's take this knowledge and information that we learn here today and put some application and some action behind it. The next thing that I want you to do is I need you to share this video. If you got anything out of it, if you learned from it, if it touched you, if it's some useful stuff in here that you can use, don't hoard it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. Just take this video and simply share it with, I just want you to find 2 other people. Just find 2 other people to share this with. You're one person. You're going to find 2 people to share this with so that they can get the same benefits out of this that you got out of it too. And the last thing that I want you to do is interact with us. We asked you a lot of questions. We told you to tell us and answer those questions on our Facebook page. Interact with us, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our handle is Adulting101org, at Adulting101org. And when you chat with us, use that hashtag DoAdulting. All right, and then there's going to be some credits at the end of this. It's going to give you all the contact information if you want to get in touch with Javertis, if you want to get in touch with Mackenzie, if you like to get some of those Kinsey sweet treats or learn more about those. In the contacts too, so definitely reach out to us. And listen, if you support the mission of Adulting101org and what we're trying to do, please donate. Please donate. There's many ways to give. One, you can go to our website, www.doadulting.org, and you'll find some ways to give there. And then you can also hit us up on our Cash App, $, do adulting. So if you support the mission and you want to sow a seed given to the cause, please donate. Please donate. But again, thank you so much for this time. And remember, this was part 2 of a 3-part series. So make sure you come back and check out part 3 as we finish up this amazing conversation. We're gonna we're still gonna talk more about saving. We're gonna talk a little bit more about different types of income, get some questions answered, and then JB is also gonna give us some specific actionable things that we can do today to help us become better savers, better stewards of our money, so that we can begin to build the wealth that we would like to have. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back and see us. Have a great evening.